Cox can help make your home smarter and your life easier. Now you can use your Contour voice remote to connect to your home life cameras so you can view them right on your TV screen using simple voice commands. That makes it easy to keep tabs on what's happening around your home right from your couch. Need to keep an eye on the kids when they're playing outside? Just say, "Show me my backyard camera" into your Cox voice remote and watch them while you're in the house. And if you're waiting for a delivery and want to make sure it's there on time, no problem. Just say, "Show me driveway camera" to check on it with your Home Life HD cameras on the TV screen while you go about your day. When you live in a home powered by Cox Internet, you can stay connected to what matters and let Cox take care of the rest. To learn more about all the benefits of your connected home, visit cox.com/thisishome today.
Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the fuck up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Believe You Me podcast with Luis J. Gomez and me, Michael the Count Bisping, Hall of Famer, former champion. At one point, I had the most wins in the company, most significant strikes landed. I don't know why I'm doing this, but there you go. There's my fucking accolades, Luis.
Do you have any accolades that still stand?
I have many accolades that still stand. Let me go and grab a copy of Quitters Never Win. They're all listed at the back, but they were accurate at the time of printing. I don't know about now.
Oh, shit.
That's the thing about records, Lewis. They're supposed to be broken. They're supposed to be broken. Simple as that. And the only one guy with one eye to win a belt.
You actually truly, in a very, very real way, helped further the sport because you create those records and then everyone else is trying to chase those records. Without there might not be the UFC as we know it today. That's
why I did it. It was not for me. It was for everybody else. But anyway, enough of that. How are you, Lewis? How was your weekend?
How was my weekend? It was okay. I had my son had a sleepover with his buddy, and I don't know, man. I like my kid. I just realized I don't like other kids.
Well, it's like they say, it's like farts, don't they? You can just about stand your own. You know what I mean? It's so true.
All the other kids stink. I'm like, get out of my fucking house.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? You good? Yeah, get the fuck out and stop making a mess. Lucas has a friend called Isaac. He comes over here. He trashes the place.
Yeah.
Has no respect. I said to him the other day, I said, "Hey, buddy, if you want to trash a house, trash your own, okay?" I said, "No more trashing this place."
Like, there's no way my son does that to other people's houses. Like, he doesn't do that. My son doesn't go in and just destroy things and fucking, yeah. So, but yeah, I get very stressed out for some reason when I have a bunch of kids at my house. It just really puts me on edge. And I'm not trying to be like an asshole. I gotta get some better help. I really do. Cause I got to figure out some like counting methods, some anger management. I got to get back into it.
Yeah, you can't shout at kids, certainly when they're not your own as well. That doesn't go down too well. For me, as I mentioned at the end of last show on Friday, I went to a wedding at the weekend. My agent there and my entertainment agent, Mike Stout, and his wife, Betty, congratulations. And I was the officiant. I married them. I am now an official wedding officiant. I am a man of God.
Official officiant?
An official officiant. I don't know how good I did at the weekend. You know what it's like. Everyone says you did great. I don't know if I did. Do you know what I mean? But
well, what happened? Tell me about it. What was the process?
What was the process? Well, process is they asked me if I want to marry them, and I said yes. And then, but it's months away. And then right up until when we were doing the podcast on Friday morning, I still hadn't figured it out. Oh, God. So I've Googled a ton of stuff. I had to piece it all together. I had to write some words. I had to talk about how they met and tell funny anecdotes about them. But no, what a great honor that somebody asked me to do that. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it. But the only thing, because I'm not nervous, I'm a good public speaker. You know what I mean? It's what I do for a living, for crying out loud. But he's a Hollywood agent. And in attendance was many, many other Hollywood agents. And I'm like, fuck, I better put on the performance of my lifetime. Otherwise, they're going to be like, yeah, we don't know about this guy doing any more acting.
You came like an action star. You fucking somersaulted in. You fucking showed up with a gun in hand.
Yeah, I don't see the relevance of what you just said.
Well, you want to just like an audition for an action movie. What do you think? You're going to be marrying people in this movie?
Yeah, but that is not an action role, is it? Fucking marrying someone. I might stand there with the Bible. I don't know what weddings you've been to. Since when is the priest running around with a gun?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to ever be auditioning to play a priest, but you very well could be an action star. So you got to show off your skills a little bit.
Yeah, well, showing off my repertoire.
You kick Betty in the head.
And I think I did a good job, but in my mind, I thought I talked too quickly because I always talk too fast. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got to talk, talk about love and relationships.
How did you open it? Give me a little sample of how you opened it.
Oh, I said some good lines. I had some good ones because then I talked about them and how they met and all the rest of it. And then before we get to the I do's and I say, do you, Mike, take such and such to having to hold and all that stuff. So I told us some stories about their, how they met. And I said, okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in my industry, it's time for the main event. Oh, and that got a nice little chuckle from everybody. I was like,
that's so cheesy. I hate it.
I'm eating out of the palm of my fucking hand. That's not cheesy. That's great.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Kiss the bride.
No, the hardest part, because obviously I've never done it. The only mistake I made was the rings. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm reading a script in front of me. I've got it all there. I'm reading it. And I'm trying to not look at the script. I'm trying to look at the people and have eye contact and, command the room, even though we were outdoors. But you know what I'm saying? But then they come up with the rings and they put the rings in my hands. And I'm like, I'm pretty clumsy. And there's a microphone and I'm holding a binder with my stuff in. And I'm just reading the stuff. And I'm like, with these rings, I'm like, shit. They're supposed to put the rings on. So I'm like, oh, God, you've got to back it up a touch, guys. Just put the fucking rings on. Let's go. Come on. You're making a fool out of me here for crying out loud.
No. Did you do the Ace Ventura rewind thing that you're known to do?
I did not know. I didn't feel like it was an appropriate time.
Okay, thank God.
Let's do that. No, I did not. Because it's a funny thing when you're marrying someone, because I looked it up on YouTube and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of videos. Of course, there's tons of wedding officiant videos on there, and I thought I'll take a look, and they're all like trying to be funny. They're all trying to be funny, and they're all trying to make it about them and all the rest of it. I'm like, well, these guys are getting married. I don't want to do it cheesy. You know what I'm saying? So I kept it classy, San Diego. I thought I did a good job. Maybe just spoke a little quick.
How about this? All right, let's give them the fans an example. Okay, let's say I'm getting married. Let's say I'm getting married to Harrington. Harrington can be my beautiful wife, my beautiful bride. And I'll tell you right now, I did not wait till my wedding night. I've been fucking. I've been throwing
a little like a psychotic Sinead O'Connor over there. So right.
I've been throwing it down with Harrington for months. He's not wearing a white dress. He's wearing a deep, dark purple dress. There's nothing virginal about Mike Harrington. Harrington, is your microphone on?
Yeah, it's on. I'm just not saying anything because I figured, I would let you make the case for being the groom, and then I would make the case for being the groom.
Well, there's never a case for you to be the groom, Harrington. Just an FYI. What is going on? Why do you look different? What's changed about you?
Did you just take over an airport in Afghanistan?
Yeah, man, I'm working with him. I sent him my self tape for recruitment, and we'll see what they say.
All right, Harrington, shut up because I'm marrying you. Okay, I don't know if you know this, but you just sit there and shut the fuck up. And on the occasion, when I ask you a question, you say, I do or I will. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me bring up my little script to ruin it.
Excuse me. That's my wife that you're talking to.
Well, I don't care. I don't care, Mr. Gomez. Okay. You hired me and that's that.
I don't know who you think you fucking are. We're paying you, sir. You work for me.
Dear beloved, we are gathered here today for the joining in holy matrimony of Louis J. Gomez and Michelle Harrington. If anybody here, and I didn't say this, but if anybody here knows of any legal reason why these should not be lawfully wed, please state your case now or forever hold your peace. Brian, come in with something. Anybody?
You can't marry a retard without their guardian's permission.
Well, we don't say the retard. We don't say that. Edit that bit out, please, Brian, in this day and age. But still,
Noted.
I get the point that you're making. Hold on. I lost my part. Wedding rundown. Here we go. Where'd it go? I don't know where it is. Listen, Brian Harrington, do you take Louis to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
Do you plan to cherish him for as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Do you plan to constantly agree with everything that he does and not have an original thought of your own and to just constantly just be the sycophant that drives everyone crazy around this podcast? Do you promise to always do that?
I do.
So nothing's gonna change.
Do you promise to show up late?
Yeah.
Not have notes on time.
Do you promise to not have the notes or the ads in our email inbox?
Dinner's 3 hours late every night.
1 minute before we're about to start the show.
When can I kiss the groom?
You've been thinking about that moment from day one, haven't you? He's like, "Ooh, I wonder if we get to kiss." Anyway, Harrington, get out of here. Piss off. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Great job, Michael. I'm very impressed.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Fantastic.
I already know the answer to this question, but I'm assuming you've been a best man before.
I don't think I have.
Really?
I've not been a best man. No. I have not, in fact. Have you?
I have one time. I'm surprised. Yeah. You know what it is? It's not so much that it's not even a compliment to your personality. It's just because I know there's so many climber assholes in the world that would want you to be their best man just if they casually even knew you.
I don't go to many weddings, to be honest. Yeah. I haven't been to many. That's why. Yeah, no, weddings are great. It's a great day. You know, free booze, free food, nice people. Everyone's in a good mood. But never been the best man. Anyway, we got Paddy Pimblett joining us. Paddy the Baddie from Liverpool. He's joining us in 23 minutes. See if he's on time or not. Excited to speak to Paddy. He makes his UFC debut next weekend. Weekend after. September 4th, either way. It was supposed to be in London. Now it's in Las Vegas. But before he joins us, should we get into some of this stuff? I mean, all right, listen, I guess we got to get into this first. It's the first note that Harrington puts in there. Everyone's been bombarding me with it on Twitter. I don't really want to go there, but Harrington or Lewis, you want to set this up, I guess, seeing as it's, I don't know, awkward for me to do so.
All right, so Harrington, jump on. You could set this up because people have been tweeting it at everyone, BYM, me, everyone. They're like, "Oh, is Bisping going to respond? Is Bisping going to respond?" So please,
you're gonna make me say this.
Yeah, read it in an Irish accent.
Forget it. I'll do it. Jesus Christ, Harrington. We're trying to keep the show moving along and flowing and going. And we don't want 12 seconds of dead air. You had your chance. You blew it off the camera. Goodbye. So I get out of bed this morning and I wake up and Callum texts me. He says, "Hey, check Connor's Twitter." And I'm like, all right, I don't even need to bother because I guarantee he's talking some shit about me on there. Otherwise, Callum wouldn't be saying that. Anyway, I look and I didn't see anything because he deleted it. But then a few people started texting me. DC texted me and a few others. And I forget what the actual quote was. I don't know. He's talking shit. No, because we got on, I think it was last week's show. Because he was talking stuff about DC. And I said, he's got to be careful. You know, DC's a heavyweight. He'll rip him from limb. To which Connor responded with, "Bisping is a nobody on Sirius XM. Well, he's a little out of date there. That was 5 years ago. Rushed back to competition after being dropped, strangled, and then get shotgun slept by Gastelum's left hand. Devastating. Even though I collect commission on all his fights, I said to the team to pull the great fight, the Gastelum fight. I knew it was coming. And then there's a bit else as well. There was something else that he said. And everyone's like, oh, you're going to take that mic? You're going to take that mic? I said, listen, I'm not lowering myself to it. He wants to get on Twitter. He wants to fucking talk shit, whatever, you know. I'm very, very happy in my life and I don't need to lower myself to that. I do my talking like a man. And if I do tweet something, I stand by it as well. I don't delete it. I'm not saying I've never deleted a tweet. Maybe I delete it because I think, hold on, I didn't word that right. Or maybe I was wrong. Do you know what I mean? But if I'm going to tweet something out, baby boy, certainly about someone, number one, have the balls to tag me. And secondly, don't delete it. Stand by your words.
Devil's advocate.
Devil's avocado.
Maybe he regretted it. Maybe he was like, you know what? That was a little out of line. Bisping's a legend. Let me delete this. And hopefully
Cat's out the bag, baby boy. Cat's out the bag. Unlucky.
It's too fucking late, McGregor.
Nah, I don't care.
It wasn't even like that. Like it wasn't like that venomous. People are like freaking out over it. It's like, you know, yeah, you did lose your last two fights.
I couldn't care less. And then he's like, oh yeah, every time he fights, I collect a commission on his fights. Yoink, every time. No, you don't. You have never collected a penny of commission off me, mate. And I'm not going into details, but that's just that. I don't know what's getting deleted Twitter quicker. This was going to be my response. I don't know what's getting deleted quicker. Connor's tweets or his legacy. Because they're both disappearing down the fucking pipe. But still, there you go. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get into it publicly on social media like I'm fucking arguing with some 13-year-old kids on Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a grown man. I'm a commentator. I'm retired. It's not a good look for the UFC if I'm going back and forth with their biggest star on social media. It's childish, you know? So whatever.
He seems to be very easily goaded into talking shit because like this is just an internet troll. Somebody on Twitter is going, "Hey, did you hear what Bisping said that he's responded to you?" He was like, "Did you hear that Bisping said DC would pull you apart limb by limb?" Which is a fact. The sky is blue.
Not an assumption.
That's not like, it's not even a shitty thing. It's not like you're saying Poirier would pull him apart limb by limb. And it's a guy who's going to fight, who's in his weight class. You're talking about the former heavyweight champion of the world whose specialty is wrestling. He's a giant fucking bear. Yes, he would tear most men apart limb by limb. So it's not that crazy of a thing. But Conor takes the bait. Some guy's trolling and takes the bait and then responds. And yeah, I don't know. It's I think that
whatever. He just needs to, just like DC said, he just needs to focus on winning fights because that isn't happening lately. That's the reality of the situation. You know, if he was as good in his fights, he was good on Twitter, then he wouldn't have to come back at people, would he? He wouldn't have to be sending venomous little tweets out in the middle of the night to which then he needs to delete afterwards. But still, whatever. As I say, it's not a good look for me as a commentator. It's not a good look for the UFC if one of their commentators and their biggest stars going back and forth. I wish you all the best. Good luck with the recovery in your leg, Conor, and just get back in the fucking octagon.
He says
I go on.
Well, did you see that he made other news because he says he's going to return. When he returns, he's going to get a title shot right away?
Well, if Dustin Poirier... Yeah, no, I did see that tweet. He said, what was the news?
I guess he said, I'm a Billy... Hold on. I'm assuming, does he mean billionaire by that? I'm a Billy walking straight into a title shot on my return, and it sickens the bums of this business, which is the real reason these constant disrespectful comments come my way. God bless them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, if Dustin Poirier becomes the champion by then, I would have thought then, yeah, he will get a title shot because if Dustin beats Charles, again, but if he does, and that's going to be Conor's next fight, I would have assumed it'd be very interesting if it wasn't. And yeah, he will get a title shot. I mean, there's nothing, I don't see why that would make news, to be honest. That's just logical. But obviously, the big factor is whether or not Dustin is the champ by then. I would assume he would have fought. We talked about it last time, Nate Diaz. He probably ends up fighting Charles at some point. If he wins the belt, Conor fights for the belt. If Dustin doesn't, then he doesn't fight for the belt. Simple as that, because there's no way he's walking in after he's recovered and taking on the champ unless it's not Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, impossible. I mean, look, we've seen crazier stuff happen. Conor. There's a few guys that are always a fight away from a title shot. Let's get real, right? A little segue here as well. I know that Nick Diaz, they said, was it Kamaru Usman's manager said that if Nick Diaz wins his fight, he's number one contender?
Wow, is that what was said? That's crazy. I mean, listen, God bless. As a champ, you won the biggest fights possible. And I love Nick Diaz. And I was with a guy that kind of represents him at the wedding on Saturday night. So we were talking about Nate and Nick a lot. They're great guys, you know what I mean? And they're entertaining as hell. And it's great to see Nick Diaz back. But if he wins a fight against Robbie Lawler, a fight that he already knocked Robbie Lawler out 17 years ago, and hasn't fought in the octagon for 6 years, right? I'm sorry. That doesn't make you the number one contender. It makes a lot of money for Kamaru Usman, though, because people would want to see Diaz fight for the belt. Simple as that, because he's got this cult figure-ish. He's got this cult-like following, which is awesome for him, but it doesn't make you the number one contender.
There are those guys, though. Nate, Conor, Nick. I'm trying to think. There's a few guys. Look, Brock Lesnar ever comes back. He's one fight away from a title shot. Always. Yeah. Ronda Rousey. There's certain guys, and what you call
John Jones.
It is. John Jones, exactly. Yeah. And that's just like, it's kind of interesting. I mean, look, there's more money with having a belt around those guys' waists for the UFC than not, right? When those guys are champions, people pay to see them fight, and that's just that. They pay to see them fight either way, but I think you put that belt on them, it adds that much more validity and that much more intrigue. So, yeah, I mean, look, if Nick Diaz beats Robbie Lawler, I could easily see him getting a title shot.
No
Easily.
way. No,
you don't think so?
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Listen, the UFC,
same organization that did Chael Sonnen a title shot after 2 losses at 185 at 205 pounds.
There were circumstances around that. Which title fight are you talking about? The one against John Jones?
John Jones, yeah.
Yeah, but didn't Dan Henderson pull out or something? There was I forget the exact details. It was a long time ago, but they were kind of in a pinch. They needed someone.
No, initially, here's what happened. They were in a pinch because I believe Dan Henderson pulled out, and it was going to be like 17 days notice. And Chael was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll come in, and I'll take that fight." And then the public got really intrigued, and John Jones was like, "No, I'm not fighting Chael Sonnen on 17 days notice." And John turned down that fight, and then people started calling John a pussy, and then Chael started talking himself into it and talked himself into the title fight after the fact. They ended up setting up after the fact. So there were circumstances, but the circumstances wasn't much more than public interest.
Yeah, great. And there would be public interest. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You can sit there and you can spout on about fucking Nick Diaz and Chael Sonnen, and you can give me history lessons in the sport of mixed martial arts that aren't required, but it ain't going to happen. Nick Diaz is awesome. He's great. What has he got? We got a lot to find out against Robbie Lawler. And even then, Robbie Lawler isn't exactly a guy that proves, and I'm not disrespecting Robbie. Robbie's a legend. He's no doubt a Hall of Famer down the line as well once he decides to hang the gloves up. But he's not the gatekeeper to the belt anymore. He was at one stage, but unfortunately he's not now. You know, I don't know what Robbie's doing right now. When was the last time he fought? I forget. It seems like it was a while ago. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. No, listen, I know you love the Diaz brothers. That ain't happening. You're out of your mind. If you think that he beats Robbie Lawler and then gets to fight Kamaru, I mean, no, I'm sorry.
Ali Abdelaziz said this.
Ali's awesome, right? And he's a great guy. I like him. You know what I mean? I got a lot of respect for him. Ali says a lot of things. He says a lot of things. He says Ali's fucking fighting people left, right, and center. He's punching Colby at fucking lines for the buffets. I forget what all the stories were. Ali's, he likes to mix it up. He likes to get in there. He likes to be controversial.
And does he represent Nick?
It's gospel.
No, he represents Kamaru.
Yeah, he represents a lot of them.
So, but here's the point, though. If Kamaru's manager is angling for that, then I think that there's some value there. If it was Nick Diaz's manager saying that, that's a different story. You'd be like, all right, yeah, obviously he's trying to sell this fight. But if Kamaru's manager is angling for it, it means that, yeah, they're trying to get in a fight with Nick Diaz because they know the money that's on the table there. I'll bet you.
No, you're out of your mind. No.
You want to make a bet? Make a bet.
Listen, we don't need to because it's not going to happen. What's happening is, of course, Ali wants that. Why? Because it's an easy title defense with large pay-per-view buys. Do you know what I mean? That is the view that they're taking. I'm not saying my official stance is that would be an easy title defense. Probably would be. Let's be honest. Nick's been out for a long time. You got to come back. You got to find your groove. You got to get your feet wet. You got to get your skills back, get your time and all that shit. But still, that's why Ali's saying that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a good headline. It's just a good tweet. It's just a good whatever. Take things with a pinch of salt, Lewis. Not everything is fucking granite in stone. It's not etched.
I'm doing very, very, very low sodium right now, trying to get all that water out. Ali also named Leon Edwards as being safe and boring as the reason they want to give a shot to Diaz. Interesting.
Well, Leon has been a little bit like that, to be fair. And I'm not talking shit about Leon. He's a fellow countryman, of course. I think he's a tremendous fighter, but that's kind of been
fair.
It's been the area of criticism for him. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't had a finish. I can't say anything. Not all my fights were finishes. You know what I mean? But, he was coasting a little bit even in that Diaz fight. So I understand why he would say that. But still, I think if Leon has another fight, he has to fight for the belt. There's Kamaru. He's fighting Colby. There's Gilbert Burns. There's title fights galore. Nick Diaz, whilst I love the guy and I can't wait to see him back and really looking forward to it. In fact, that's the next pay-per-view, right? That's just in, a couple of weeks?
Is he coming back that soon? When is Nick coming back? That's wild.
It's the next pay-per-view, I believe. What is it, UFC 266? Yeah.
This is a fun fight month, dude. This is a fun month.
Why?
Well, we had a heavyweight title fight. We have Nick Diaz coming back. We have Tyron Woodley fighting Jake Paul at the end of the month. This is just a fun end of the summer.
Pardon me. It's September. But you're right. The Tyron Woodley Jake Paul thing, that's around the corner. I'm going to be there.
You're going
in Cleveland? Yeah, I'm covering it for BT Sport. Come out.
A ticket. I will 100% come out. I did invite my entire staff over to my home to watch the fight, but I would ditch all of them in all.
Classic Gomez style. Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, I can try. I can't guarantee it because it just come into my head right now, but I'm sure I'd have grounds to ask for a couple. But I'm covering the fight for BT Sport. So I finished commentating on Saturday 28th. It's fucking annoying. I go straight to the airport, fly to Cleveland to cover the fight for the Sunday night. There's a direct flight on Spirit or Frontier, right? or there's an indirect that I can take first class. Spirit or Frontier don't do first class. Well, obviously,
how long? Wait, where are you coming from?
Vegas to Ohio, Cleveland.
3 hours?
4 hours. 4 hours. I can go Spirit or Frontier, which is fucking garbage, right? You get treated like crap, and it's going to take 4 hours, or it can take 8 hours, and I can go first class with the stopover.
Oof.
It's a tough one, right?
You're not paying for it. They're paying for it.
No, exactly. I said, listen, I'll do it. Yeah, it's in my contract.
Ooh, it's literally just deciding. That's such an annoying thing, because if it was 2.5 hours, it wouldn't even need to be. Like, all right, Spirit, go. Just get it done. Right? But because it's so long.
It's not that long. 4 hours isn't too bad, but it's long enough to make you regret. But at the end of the day, the flight's almost midnight. I'll have been working all day, would have been commentating all day. So I'll be ready for a nap. Ready for a little nappy poo-poo.
Okay, if you can sleep on a plane, I would just do Spirit and say fuck it.
Yeah. Anyway, you never know. I'll see if I can.
It's going to be. I can't wait till you get caught walking onto a Spirit flight, and everyone's like, "What's going on with Bisping?" It's like when we were staying at the Plaza, when you met me at the Plaza, and you saw.
Times are hard, buddy. Times are hard. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But still, there we go.
Okay, Mike, we should take a moment and thank BetterHelp for helping us out and supporting today's show. They help us out in a better way because they truly are a great service that takes all of the benefits of therapy and meeting with a therapist, and they move it all online. Especially after the pandemic, this became a practice for most therapists. BetterHelp's been doing it for a long time this way, which makes it very easy to be matched up with a therapist because it opens up the entire world to you. There's so many different therapists that are out there that maybe aren't in your city, that maybe don't have the exact schedule that you can go and visit them. Well, BetterHelp matches you with those people in a better way. It's less intimidating and it's less expensive.
Yeah, that's a key thing as well. Certainly for a lot of people, it is cheaper. And listen, whatever you're going through, unfortunately, maybe you've got a bit of depression, you've got anxiety problems, maybe you're depressed, maybe it's addiction issues, who knows what it is. But generally, someone could do with talking to somebody, and to do it in a convenient way where you're going to save some money. Certainly when you're talking to a licensed professional therapist who you can communicate with in under 48 hours, BetterHelp really is a fantastic resource to have at your fingertips. It's not a crisis line. It is not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online, and BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so it's easy and free to switch counselors if need be. You can send a message to your counselor anytime, and you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. So, I don't know what it is that you're going through, but if there's something that happens and it's bad and you need to speak to somebody quickly, you can get that done. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or just phone sessions. So it's the perfect way to do therapy through the pandemic, and you won't have to go back to sitting in an uncomfortable waiting room in the future. Go to betterhelp.com/believe to join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. New testimonials for users are posted daily. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. So, there you go. I mean, that speaks for itself. But listen, if you've got a problem, speak to somebody. Go to betterhelp.com. BETTER, better, HELP, help, betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. One more time, betterhelp.com/believe, 10% off your first month. And who knows? Maybe you'll feel better. Maybe you get over that hump. Maybe you kick that addiction, or maybe you just won't strangle fucking Lewis next time you see him. Whichever one it is, they will help you. All right. Where were we? Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul is coming up. That's crazy. What have we got in these notes while we just wait time for Paddy the Baddy? We've got 8 minutes. I saw Ariel Helwani a while ago. He was talking about Paddy Pimblett, saying that the last time he was getting this many requests to interview somebody, talking about Paddy, was when Conor McGregor was making his debut. So there's a lot of hype around this young man. So we'll talk to him shortly and we'll find it all out. I thought this was an interesting story regarding Rose Namajunas, Rose Namajunas recently started a fight camp for an unnamed opponent. According to the South China Morning Post, the opponent targeted is Zhang Weili. But Zhang came out and she said, obviously, when she fought Rose Namajunas last time, earlier on in the card, was when Chris Weidman and Uriah Hall fought. And she saw Chris Weidman break his leg, which, of course, as we know, is a devastating injury, and it's gruesome and it's scary and all the rest of it. And she said, the fighter in my previous fight, talking about Chris, was in the same waiting room as me, which was Weidman. His leg had snapped. We even touched gloves right before he left for the fight. I said, good luck. And then I saw his leg snap like that. And I felt like my mind wasn't completely focused on the match. I wasn't as focused. You can't lose focus for even 0.01 seconds. No, it's that cruel. And it's an interesting one because I agree and I disagree at the same time, because she's absolutely right. You do have to stay supremely focused. You can't drift. And that is one of the hard parts about being in a fight, because there's so many distractions. Certainly when there's a crowd of 20,000 people there and they're all screaming, and there's ring girls walking around, and there's fucking the klaxons and the buzzers, and there's the crowd and the referee, and there's people there in the front row, and maybe the celebrities, and there's a lot going on. You know what I mean? But you've got to stay dialed in on your opponent the entire time, and it is hard. So I get that. You do have to stay focused. You know, and then when you are in the room as well, this is an interesting one. I don't think we've talked about this. When you're the main event, generally, most of the time, you get your own locker room. But if you're lower down on the card, you know, there's not enough locker rooms for everybody to have their own locker room. So they'll put some of the red corner guys in with the other red corners, and the blue corner share with the other blue corners. You know, and you want, when you're in that locker room, and I've been there many times, you know what I mean? You're in there, and there's 3 or 4 other guys in the same locker room as you, and they go, or girls, pardon me, and they go out for the fight, and they win, and they come back in. And me and Perillo were like, oh yeah, this room's getting good karma. We get it. This room's full of fucking winners. You know what I mean? And before they walk out, as she said, she gave Weidman a fist bump. Good luck. And the whole room, everyone claps, and all the cornermen and everything. You're all there, and they go out for the fight. And you're hitting the pads and shit, and then you stop and you glance up at the monitor and say, ooh, he's not doing so good. And then all of a sudden you see the motherfucker get his leg snapped. You know what I mean? And then, you know, so maybe that would throw you off mentally. What do you think?
Yeah, it would fight through. I watched it from home and it threw me off mentally. I couldn't think right for a week. That was awful. The whole thing was awful. It would definitely fuck with your head. It reminds you how dangerous the sport is in a very, very real way. I think people forget sometimes, even with the blood and all that other stuff, you just forget. They walk out of the cage, they get knocked out, whatever it is. You literally move on as a fan emotionally like that. Even if you're a big fan of the guy who just got knocked out and who's bleeding, his head gashed open, whatever it is, you move on from it very quickly and you move on to the next fight. You go, all right, cool. Who's up next on the cards? And it's like that person is dealing with maybe lifetime of injuries for the rest of their life, whatever it is. They broke their arm. They, you know, and I think with as brutal of the injury as Weidman's was, it reminds everyone that this is a very, very, very dangerous sport, and it should be taken very, very seriously. And yeah, it scared the fuck out of me, dude. I got a fight coming up in a few months, and I think about that all the time. It's just horrifying. Not
that I'm a superstitious guy either, regarding what I was talking about before, because sometimes you're there that, oh, this room's got good karma. You know what I mean? Everyone's winning, and then you go out there and you lose, which has happened. And I've added the flip side where everyone's losing their fights, and then it's like, okay, well, it's up to me to fucking get a win for this room. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing, but that'd be great. I'd love to see Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas go at it again, although I don't think that should be the next fight. There's a few people out there that are doing very well. There's Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She needs Joanna Jędrzejczyk lives a great life these days. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram. She's always like doing fashion shoots and stuff like that. And she's living a very, very cushy lifestyle, which she should be. She was the strawweight queen for a long time. Who else we got? There's what's-her-face, Carla Esparza. She's been creeping up the ranks a little bit, silently, taking people out. So she's there. And Zhang Weili, I thought she was a great champion. Obviously, I had that fight with Jędrzejczyk. I would love to see a rematch of that. I would love to see her and Rose go at it again. But I just think anytime you get knocked out cold with a head kick in the first round, it's kind of hard to sell that rematch. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Paddy the Baddy, what do you reckon? We got 3 minutes. You think this guy shows up on time? He's a scouser. He's mates with Darren Till.
I think he's going to show up on time. I think you're a legend, Bisping, and I think that he would never disrespect the name of Michael Bisping and show up even 1 minute late. I think 1 minute late speaks volumes to how little respect he has for you. So,
well, you're putting him under pressure right now because the clock is ticking down, baby boy. How many? What is it? 2:57. You got 270 seconds, Paddy, and then that's it. You're dead to me.
let me do plugs real quick while we take a moment. You guys love the show. Please go to subscribe to our iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating, a positive review. We love the great reviews. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is growing tremendously. YouTube channel is crushing it, guys. I think we're at like 150,000 subscribers now. Also, subscribe to Michael Bisping's personal YouTube channel where he's doing Bisping breakdowns of everything from MMA fights and all the this and that, and a lot of stuff that you get from his Instagram as well. Also, if you guys love the show, you can get the entire on-demand library, all the shows that we've ever done in one place, all ad-free and uncensored, all at gasdigitalnetwork.com. Make sure you use the promo code BYM. Get a 7-day free trial. You get instant access to everything, and you save $150 a month if you decide to stay on for the premium service. Got a couple live dates coming up. LewisofSkanks.com is the website. I'll be in Connecticut and going out to California again sometime soon. And we got tickets left for Tales from the Octagon, an evening with Michael Bisping. Please, Bisping, let them know about which cities we have left.
myticket.co.uk is the link. Dublin 100% sold out, so thank you very much. But Manchester, Glasgow, London, and Birmingham, still some tickets available. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some big surprises lined up. Been working on the production side of things. It's going to be good. You don't want to miss out. It's going to be good. So yeah, myticket.co.uk. But still, as of right now, Lewis, oh my God, Paddy, the countdown is on. 2:59. You said he's not going to be late? I don't know. I think he's, I don't know. He says he's very familiar with the StreamYard, though. That's the program that we use, as you know, but the listeners don't. He said, what is it, Mike? Is it a Zoom or a Skype or something? I said, no, mate, it's a StreamYard. He said, oh, yeah, no, I know that one, mate. No problem, lad. I'll be on the laptop, so it's a better quality, all right, we'll just fucking never mind the quality. Show up on time. But still, we're getting ahead of ourselves because he's not actually late yet. Got a lot to get into. Sean O'Malley looks like he may have an opponent. We'll talk about that. Looking like Frankie Edgar from what we're hearing. Also came out with some kind of not controversial statement, but he kind of like backed up why he didn't really want to fight higher ranked people right now. But we'll get into all that in a little bit. We'll probably do some of your questions as well. But we didn't have any fights at the weekend to break down. So there's no reports or reviews, if you will. We got Cyril Gane talking about Francis Ngannou. We got Khabib, who's reportedly signed the contract with third-tier Russian FC Legion Dynamo. And look at that. On the dot.
Right on time.
Dot.
Wow.
On Sam.
What's happening, Paddy?
I'm good. What's going down?
Good to meet you, mate. Good to meet you. I've heard your name for a long, long time. Finally, we get to say hello to one another. Thank you for being on the show. Great to meet you. As I said, this is Luz J. Gomez, my co-host, and welcome to the Believe You Me podcast.
Patty, what's up, kid? So just so you know, we were putting you because we had another British fighter, Leon Edwards, has no respect for Michael Bisping and has made plans to come on the show multiple times and just doesn't show up. So we were putting you against the clock. So if you were 1 minute late, you were dead to Bisping, and you made it right on time.
Yeah, it's not something I'm known for, like my punctuality. I get moaned at by Paul quite a bit, but I've made it. When it's 11 o'clock at night, you can't not be on time, can you?
Yeah, well, no, that's it. No, I appreciate it, Paddy, because I know you got a big fight coming up. You got your UFC debut, and yeah, no, it's late for you there, so I appreciate it, mate. How's training camp and all that good stuff going, and how you feeling coming into this one?
I feel great, to be honest. I just can't wait to put on a show for everyone. As you said, this has been a long time coming. I got offered the first UFC contract 5 years ago, and then got offered to fight again in the Echo Arena 3 years ago. But everything's happened at the right time. I just, as I say, I can't wait to put on a show for everyone. I got asked by someone today, "You're nervous?" and I'm not, because I know what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to turn up, fuck shit up, and get off.
So you were saying you were offered UFC fights in the past. Why did you turn those fights down in the past?
Well, the first time when I got offered the contract, I was only 21. I'd just won the belt on Cage Warriors, and Cage Warriors offered me a bumper new deal, which I would have been stupid to turn down. That contract what Cage Warriors gave me 5 years ago, I got more money then than the contract I'm getting now for the UFC.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
fucking hell. Cage Warriors has come a long way.
Silly to
fucking weren't paying me that kind of money back when I was the champ. Cheap bastards.
I was filling that Echo Arena out loud. I was putting money in pockets.
Mate, I was filling fucking stadiums when you weren't even born yet, so shut the fuck up, Paddy. Talking of which, you first came onto my radar when you were talking a little bit of shit a few years ago.
I was waiting for this.
You're good, mate. You're good. Come on, I got a sense of humour. Go on.
No, what you said the other day was spot on, though, because you said it. I think you said it to Till when you said, "I'm the first, and I'll always be the first." And you're right. I remember saying years ago, "No, I don't want Brisbane to win it because I want to be the first."
Yeah.
Saying that, but that's what it is. You're the first. And
yeah, no, I'm only busting your balls, mate.
If I become double champ, you'll still always be the first who done it. You know what I mean? So.
Hey, good for you, man. I hope you do go out there and become double champ. Really do. I always support everyone from the UK. So obviously, we don't know each other, Paddy. First, we've spoke. Tell us about yourself.
I'm just a young lad from Ayton, Liverpool, lad. Started doing MMA when I was 15 and my life changed.
What was your background? Did we literally just started with MMA?
Yeah, I done about 6 weeks of boxing when I was like 12. That's it. Never done anything else.
Were you a tough kid? Were you getting into like a lot of street fights?
No, not really. I had like a few fights in year 7. That's about it. In first year seniors, that's about it. Know what I mean? I've got a brother who's 5 years older than me, and we used to fight all the time, so I could take a beating. That's what I was good at, taking a beating. And then I just literally, I walked into Next Generation. I know the date, 20th of January 2010. And I just started training, and then I got into it, know what I mean? I got my blue belt about 8 months later, something like that. And it come up on my time up yesterday, actually, an app on my phone 11 years ago. 2 days ago, I won my first ever tournament, ground control. I won the kids division when I was 15. Got a picture of me and my dad there. Oh, it's just crazy looking back now.
How old are you, Paddy?
I'm 26.
26. That's a perfect age, to be honest. So how many fights? I was looking at your record before, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure you do. What is your record? You've had a fair few fights now, right?
Yeah, I was 9-0 as an amateur, and then I went pro when I was 17, and I'm 16-3 as a pro.
9-0 as an amateur. See, that's so important. I say it to everybody all the time because you know what it's like, Paddy. Everyone wants to be a fighter these days. They see it on TV. They think it's cool. There's money to be earned. So they rush into it. But you got to have that amateur career, whether it's actual amateur MMA or just like any kind of martial art tournaments, because that's how you learn. And, you know, unfortunately for you, you went 9-0, but some people, you know, they don't win them all. And you want to do that in the amateur ranks, because as soon as you turn professional and you start losing fights, you kind of screw, because that's on there forever. So that is that's the best way to get into the professional ranks, if you ask me.
I always say to the amateurs in our gym now, I wish I would have lost when I was an amateur. It lights a fire under your ass. It makes you realise that you're not as good as you think you are. Because when you go now amateur, and then when you're in your first 4 pro fights, you're thinking, I'm the boy here, no one can beat me. And then obviously I eventually lost, and it proper lit a fire under my ass. It made everything a lot different.
Lewis, is that you at your end, or is that you, Paddy?
No, we don't have a phone here.
So me and Lewis, we have like a little, it's not that secret, we have a little code, like we just give a little finger, me and Dave got the next question, and he just gave me that. He gave me the finger, I'll get the next question, but then his fucking phone starts ringing. So I just crack on with that, mate. A lot of people are there he is, he's coming on the other side.
There we
as
go,
well.
I'm back. Sorry, guys, I apologize.
What was going on, Lewis?
That's my house line was going off as a fucking telemarketer or whatever. All right, so no, I wanted to ask you something. I thought this was kind of interesting because you were saying how you turned down your earlier contract. They gave you a better contract. What do you think is the difference in you today than versus you 5 years ago? Like, what are some tools you've learned in the past 5 years that you think are going to make you more ready for this UFC debut right now?
Well, my striking's just a different level now. Like, if the Paddy the Baddy of 5 years ago fought the Paddy the Baddy of today, he gets knocked out in the first round. Simple as that. Know what I mean? My grappling's always been my strong point. Even when I was younger, I've always had good jiu-jitsu. I think 5 years ago, I might have still been a purple belt, but I could have been a brown belt by then. I think I may have been a brown. Yeah, I was a brown belt by then, but now obviously I'm a black belt. My jiu-jitsu's improved, my wrestling's improved, and The big difference, to be honest, apart from just the striking, is me physique. I'm a man now. Back then, I won that Cage Warriors world title without doing any sort of strength and conditioning. I didn't lift any weights at all, and I won a world title. It's pretty crazy, to be honest. And I was out partying every weekend, so I've done a lot of maturing.
Yeah, that happens. It's par for the course. Is this your first time fighting outside of England?
No, I fought in Ireland once on Cage Warriors, but yeah, that's only going to be my second time fighting out of England.
So first time in the States, Las Vegas, UFC Apex. There's a little bit of a crowd these days. You know, now they're letting in vaccinated people and all that shit. So it's not exactly the MGM, but there's a crowd there. There's a little bit of an atmosphere. What are you expecting for it? Are you excited?
Oh, I can't wait. Literally, I cannot wait. I'll be honest, I did want it to be in London. I wanted the home.
That would have been amazing.
Would have been unbelievable when my walkout comes on. It would have went off.
What song do you come out to?
I was just about to ask the same thing. Right.
It's Lethal Industry by Sonny D. James and Ryan Marciano, but it cuts into Heads Will Roll, the 8-track remix. Okay. One of my mates, Ann Chandler, made it for me, and I've been using it ever since.
Lethal Industry, is that like a bit drum and bass? Am I thinking of the right stuff there? It's
house. I think it's a Tiesto song, but Sonny James and Ryan Marciano changed it a little bit.
Right.
But even with 150 people there, it's still gonna go off.
No, definitely. But you're right. It's kind of a shame for all the English lot coming over, because it would have been amazing after the absence that we've had in the UK. Obviously, no UFC for a few years. For all you guys and for you to make your debut there in London would have been mental. You know what I mean? It would have been great. And it'd be my first time commentating in the UK as well. So I was looking forward to that, doing the interviews and everything. So, but whatever, you get to fight in Vegas, mate. It's not bad.
Yeah, I've always said to friends and stuff, because some of my mates have been to Vegas to party and stuff like that. And I've always said, I'm not going to Vegas until I fight there. And it's come to fruition. You know what I mean? It's happened. And the other good thing is, I'm going to have all the UFC officials in a headlock.
What do you mean?
I'm going to take over. I'm going to be there, and people are going to be wanting to sit with me and talk with me, because I am going to take over. I'm going to be the star of the show. Simple as. Doesn't matter who else is on the card. Everyone's going to want to be sitting with me and talking to me.
See, this is what I wanted to hear, Paddy. This is the Paddy that I wanted on here. Come on, talk shit, call out everybody. So obviously you're confident. You're coming into this. You got eyes on being a champ, eyes on being a double champ. Perfect roadmap to being the champion. How many fights, and how would you plan that out?
I really don't know, to be honest. Especially with fighting at 155. I always thought I'd be able to go back down to 45, but the way my body's changed and how much bigger I am now, I don't know if I'll ever make 145 again. The last time I did make 145, I had a DEXA scan when it was dry. Everyone who read that DEXA scan, who is a medical professional, said, you should have died. How did you even do 5.5s the next night? So, now I don't know if I'll ever make it again. But I'm happy to get fat and go to welterweight and win that. So I don't know.
You sound like fucking Conor McGregor.
Bisping, can I suggest something?
Go ahead.
Because I think Paddy's great. And obviously, look, he's in the presence of greatness himself. It's the legendary Michael Bisping. It's his podcast. It's the number one comedic-based MMA podcast in the world. This is a big deal, okay? Besides his UFC debut, this is sort of the thing he's most nervous about. I suggest that we play UFC lightweight word association.
Yeah, I'll
get him talking some shit.
Myself. All right, we're going to give you some names, and you're going to tell us first thing that comes to your mind, Paddy, and what you would do to them in a fight as well. But we'll start at number 10. No, we won't. We'll start at number 9. Conor McGregor.
Ooh.
You and Conor McGregor. God knows what's going on with him. When he gets off Twitter and stops talking shit at half the world and decides he wants to fight, and when his leg's healed up and he can actually walk without limping, you're the next man in line. What goes down there, Paddy?
I said it about 6 years ago in a post-fight interview. He gets smoked. I'm not even messing either. Especially I think I'd take him down and submit him with pretty ease.
Is that your strong point, Paddy? Do you class yourself more of a grappler than a striker?
Yeah, I am. I'm more of a grappler, know what I mean? I'm a black belt, and I think I've got 12 finishes and 7 of them are by submission.
I saw an interview yesterday. You were talking about that actually. So, but Lewis, next one down. Go ahead.
All right, let's go with. I'm just gonna go random. I don't even have the rankings in front of me. I'm going off the dome piece. Let's go with Justin Gaethje. Wow. What do you think of that guy?
I love Justin Gaethje. Who doesn't like Justin Gaethje? He's a brawler. You know what I mean? I'd love to just have a fight with him, just to have a fight, because I love fighting, and I'd just throw down with Justin Gaethje.
Let me ask you before we throw some other names, the wrestling side of things. Obviously, you said you're a grappler, but I know in the UK, obviously we're often at a wrestling deficit in terms of skills when it comes to the Americans. And that's not a knock on the UK wrestling scene, because there is one. But out here in the States, it's a massive program. They do it in schools, they do it in college, and they dominate the world scene as well. What do you expect? How is your wrestling? And for example, someone like Justin Gaethje, they always say he never uses his wrestling because he loves to bang, as you just said. That's why he's a fan favorite. That's why everybody loves the guy. But if you went up against someone, say like a Michael Chandler, that was going to try and wrestle you to death, how do you think you get on with those guys?
I'd feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I've got one of the weirdest takedown defenses in the world. Like, no one's like me. You can't get a sparring partner to replicate me, because I'll flow flying in positions where people won't. I'll jump for leg locks in positions where people won't. I'll do mad defenses where they're like, "Wow, what's he doing?" So that's one of my main facets. You can't train for me. There's no one like me. You can't get a sparring partner what'll do what I do.
What, like be a spaz? I'm joking.
The positions I can get my body in are just weird. Like, I wrestle with people in the gym, and like, they'll just, like, I'll end up on top and they'll just sit and look at me and go, "Lad, anyone else, I'd end up on top there, but with you, it's just weird."
Yeah. Are you very flexible?
Yeah. Put your legs behind.
That helps with that stuff big time.
Are you nervous at all about the rumored as they jump in or the perceived jump up in competition, right? UFC is best in the world, right? But is there any part of you that's like, oh shit, this is going to be like a step up in competition?
No, I think I've fought very good people outside of the UFC, and I've got 3 losses on my record, but I only really count one of them as a proper loss, because 2 of them.
Now you sound like Bisping. There we go.
2 of them are crazy steroid abusers.
There you go. Well, fair enough. I'm looking at your record right now. Was one of them Nad Narimani? Is that one of the guys you're talking about? Not that I'm saying he's on steroids. That's the UFC name that I see that's jumping off the page. I'm no fucking allegations from me here.
Yeah, and also that fight, I cut 7.7 kilo overnight, and that was when I had that DEXA scan, and they said I was 0.2 kilo weight loss away from kidney failure, and I had no testosterone in my body at all.
Yeah. No, that's about 15 pounds, Lewis. It's a shit ton of weight to do in one night. That's mental. You're fighting Luigi Vendramini. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to be commentating your fight as well, Paddy, so I'll ask you all these questions again week off. But what do you make of him? How do you break him down?
Well, to be honest, one of the lads in our gym, Carl, he's done a full breakdown of him for me. 17-minute video. What he's good at, what he's bad at, his vulnerabilities. And I just don't see wherever the fight goes where he can trouble me, to be honest. I'm a better wrestler, I'm a better jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I'm a better striker. And I think he's going to think that he's going to be the bigger, stronger dude. And when we get in there, he's going to get the fright of his life.
How tall are you, Paddy?
Hey, I'm 5'10". Some of 5'10 and a half.
And will you be cutting weight? Yeah, 5. Yeah, those halves matter, mate. Yeah. I said I'm 6'1 and a half, and I fucking throw that half in all the time.
Okay, Mike, let's take a moment and thank Hemp Fusion for helping us out and being a longtime supporter of today's show. Hemp Fusion makes incredible CBD products that helps you with a wide variety of things. I really love their sleep support. I'll tell you right now, I always have trouble getting good night's sleep. And if I take like an over-the-counter thing, like some sort of like Unisom sleep gel, one of those things, the next morning the crash is awful. I wake up all groggy. It's like another hour that I got to lie in bed because I don't want to get out of bed. The sleep support, which blends 10 milligrams of CBD, terpenes, omegas, GABA, black pepper, and more. I'll tell you right now, dude, it is the best night's sleep, and there is absolutely no crash. You wake up clear-headed.
Yeah, I used to use ZQL a lot, and whilst that does knock you out, the next day, oh my God, you just can't think. You've got no motivation for anything. The sleep support is fantastic. If you're a little stressed out, they've got the stress support, and of course, they've got the energy support as well, which is great in the morning if you're trying to reduce your caffeine. Plus, of course, gets your body in homeostasis and all the benefits of CBD. The thing about Hemp Fusion that I like, it is truly organic. A lot of companies claim to be, but these guys really are, and the way they process the CBD means all the goodness from the other parts of the cannabis plant are left in as well. It's cheaper to process it faster, but you lose a lot of the powerful benefits from that miraculous plant, the marijuana plant, I guess it is. I don't know if that's the technical term. I'm sure you know, Lewis. But still, hempfusion.com, they're a class act. They're a fantastic company, high quality, truly organic. And listen, you want the best quality at the best price, and that's where we come in. You go to hempfusion.com, you use the code COUNT, you're going to get 25% off and free shipping. So that's a massive discount. Okay, you get what you pay for in this world, but if you use the code COUNT, you get 25% off. You're getting the best quality. There's no chemicals. There's no nastiness. There's just good times ahead. So let the good times roll. Go to hempfusion.com, use that code COUNT, 25% off, free shipping, and you're going to save money. You're going to feel good, and we're going to get back into the show. Where were we? How much weight? I mean, what are you weighing right now? I'm just trying to get a gauge on your size for lightweight.
77 this morning.
Okay, that's perfect then. That's perfect. Yeah. That's good.
I think I'll do 340 tops.
A lot of people making comparisons to when Conor McGregor came into the UFC, and they're talking about you. I'm sure you've seen the chart. You've seen what Helwani said and all the rest of it. Obviously, I'm assuming that makes you very excited, but what do you make of all of that?
Just let it go over your head, you know what I mean? It's not...
Yeah.
People have got opinions, and as you say, opinions are like arseholes, lad. Everyone's got one. So just get on with it. It's nice to be mentioned in the same breath as people like that, but at the same time, I'm my own man. You can't really compare me to anyone because I'm Paddy the Bobby, and no one else is like me.
Is there someone, or I should say, I'm sure there are, but are there people in the UFC that you're a fan of?
There's people in the UFC I'd love to watch fight. You know what I mean? Justin Gaethje, as we said before, you can't love watching Justin Gaethje fight. When I was younger, like people that got me into the sport were like people like Big Dog, because you just take a beating and you just coming and that's something that I pride myself in. I'll take a beating and I'll keep fighting.
Well, because the reason I even asked that is because I remember Bisping, the way you spoke about Anderson Silva. I know there was a lot of shit talking going into the fight, but the amount of respect that you had and admiration you had for Anderson Silva going into that fight, you express, pretty vividly in your book. Is there somebody like that for you? Is there somebody that you could end up fighting one day where you sort of look at them as like, oh shit, there's somebody that I have so much respect for. I look at them as a legend.
No, not really. Off the top of my head,
I said fuck them all
because it would have been someone like BJ Penn, because when I first got into the sport, like he was a man at lightweight, or maybe Jose Aldo, because I've got a lot of respect for Jose Aldo. What he's done over the years, he's brilliant. But I'll have to cut my legs off to make 135.
What do you make of the lightweight division right now? Obviously, Oliveira's at the top. He beat Chandler. Some people were a little bit miffed that he even got a title shot in the first place. But when you look at the lightweight division, how do you break it down? Who do you think is going to be a champ? Once all this situation plays out, all the rest of it.
Well, I like Charles Oliveira. I think he's a proper underdog. I like it the way he's come after so many losses and then went up a weight class and he's dominating in that weight class. But I think Dustin Poirier is the best 155 in the world. And I think everyone else he beats. When they eventually fight, I can see Dustin TKOing him inside.
Let me just go back on something, a conversation that me and Lewis were having before, and I said he's out of his fucking mind. He says that Nick Diaz is going to come back after 5-6 years away. He's going to beat Robbie Lawler and get a title shot at 170.
I didn't say that.
I said,
so Michael Bisping's a liar. He's a liar. No, he's lying right to your face,
That's what you said. It's on the show. That's what you said, Lewis. No. You said when he beats Robbie Lawler, he's going to get a title shot. I said, you're out of your fucking mind. Paddy, what do you say to that?
I'd say he's out of his mind, because there's Leon Edwards, who deserves a title shot. There's Vincent Luque, who I think deserves a title shot in the not so distant future. And then there's people like Wonderboy and Gilbert Burns who are definitely above him. But as Dana says, Nick Diaz is a needle mover. So it wouldn't surprise me if he got put in for the title shot.
He is a needle mover, but still.
Yes,
let me. So you agreed with me there, Paddy, most of the time, and then right at the end, you fucking kicked the ball back over to Lewis.
Yeah, because he started using his mind. He started realizing, oh shit, hold on.
He's a cage fighter. He hasn't got a fucking mind.
He wins one fight, he could be right there, and that's all I said. Is there are certain people in this sport, they're always one fight away from a title shot, and Nick Diaz is one of those people. And Ali Al-Dibs said that he's angling for that fight with Kamaru.
Let the guest talk.
Surprise me if McGregor sits out, Poirier gets the belt, and then he comes back and gets an immediate title shot.
McGregor?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen anyway, because they're going to do the fourth fight. You know what I mean? And Charles will probably... I hate saying anything disrespectful about Charles because I was so happy to see him win the belt because he's been in there for so long and he's always getting better. And, you know, he's been beaten a few times, but he works his way up to the top and he deserves it. But I agree with you. I think Dustin probably beats him. You know, I think Dustin beats him. And if he does, then, yeah, McGregor's going to walk back in and get that title shot. Will this be... obviously, your first time fighting in America, but your first time coming to America at all?
A few years ago, I went and trained in Henzo's for 2 weeks.
Fucking got no loyalty, you have you, Paddy? Jesus Christ!
In New York City.
Yeah.
Oh, Henzo's.
Yeah, Henzo's.
I thought you said Hendo, as in Dan Henderson.
Oh
no.
That's why I was like, you got no fucking loyalty. Jesus Christ!
And then went to Next Gen in Texas for a week. So I was in the States for 3 weeks. That was when I was on the Ariel Helwani show and my face was like that.
I never saw that. Why was your face so swollen?
Because I was about 86 kilo, 87 kilo, big fatty.
Did you used to let yourself go up and down in weight in between fights?
Still do.
yeah. No, I know. It's a nightmare, isn't it?
After the fight, I'm going to have to rein in because last time when I fought March, I weighed in at 70. I went into the fight at 77, 78. And then by the next Sunday, I was 89.6 kilo.
If there's one piece of advice I could give you, Paddy, and of course you're going to forge your own path, but it's that, to be honest, when I look back at my career now, I say to my wife all the time, I say, fuck, you know, yeah, I never missed weight. But still, I used to let myself get too heavy in between fights, a little bit of partying here and there as well. You do when you're younger, but as you get older, you mature. But the ballooning of the weight, the yo-yo and going up and down, it's not good for you. It's not good for a long career. And then a lot of the time, the camp just becomes about making fucking weight as well, when it should be about beating them in the best possible fashion, not trying to fucking go out there and run 5 miles every morning because you're a fat bastard.
So that's exactly what my last few camps at featherweight was. And that's why I had to move up because, like, when I fought Julian Erosa, I cut 8.4 kilo overnight. And that was the one when I vomited in the cage after a won. You know what I mean? So,
when did you fight Julian? I'm just looking at it. So that was back in 2016. He's a good fighter, man. Julian Erosa. How did that fight go down? I never saw it, so forgive my ignorance. But how did you feel with him in there?
I remember a lot of journalists after the fight thought that I lost, to be honest. But I won the first 3 rounds with ease, and then, as I say, where I'd cut that much weight, I just gassed bad in the 4th and 5th, and I just survived, to be honest. I was just moving away, shooting in for takedowns, trying to survive, because I can remember sitting in the corner going to Paul and Ellis, like, I can't feel my arms and my legs. Like, I don't know what's going on here. And they were like, what do you expect? You was 84 key 4 weeks ago. You're an idiot.
That's how it goes, though. Yeah, I mean, as the longer the fight goes on, those weight cuts really, that's another thing as well. And you lose power as well. You know, when you're cutting all that weight, when you lose the fight, you lose muscle as well. Obviously, Liverpool's a massive fighting city, always has been. Tons of UFC guys there now and girls, Molly McCann and others. Are you getting a lot of love in Liverpool?
Yeah, of course, we always do. We get the back in the whole city. As I say, I can't wait to put on a show for me city because over the years they've supported me like no one else has. You know what I mean? I've filled that Echo out plenty of times, and when I fight in there, it's special. It really is.
So talk to us. Oh, sorry, Mike, please.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say is give us a little bit of a prediction for your trajectory in the UFC. How do you see it going? Because, you know, a lot of guys have come in and they've They've shot straight to the moon, and some guys come in, they take their time. But give us your overall prediction. How do you see Paddy the Baddy's UFC career going?
I think after this one fight, I'm going to be one of the biggest stars in the UFC.
Hell yeah.
I love it. And I love how you're sitting there. You're not laughing either while you're saying it. You're not trying to have a laugh. But you said you're going to have the journalists in a headlock all week, all the UFC staff and that. Explain what you mean by that. Because, of course, you are supremely confident. You've got the skills to back it up. You got the personality. You got the patter. I mean, I'll tell you this. The Americans, they love a Liverpool accent, mate. Fucking hell. They were swinging off Darren's nuts after hearing him speak for the first time. Of course, Darren can back it up and he's hilarious as well. But yeah, what makes you think that's going to happen so fast and so soon for you?
To be honest, I've always said it for years. I just know it. Like I believe in destiny, and I know it's my destiny. Like I am going to be one of the biggest superstars in the world, especially in this sport. I don't even think I'll be one of the biggest superstars just in this sport. I mean sport in general. Like I'm going to create a new wave of MMA fans, and it's that simple.
Let me ask you this, and so sorry, Lewis. We were talking about Conor before, and we've brought his name up here a couple of times, and he's talking a little bit of shit about me this morning on Twitter. So what? It is what it is. War off a duck's back. Fuck him. But you got to give him credit where credit's due. Because obviously seeing what Conor did coming into the sport, and he is, a massive superstar all over the world in mixed martial arts and outside of fighting as well. Is that someone that's inspired you and you've seen him do that? I'm not saying you want to copy him or whatever, but seeing him being able to reach those kind of heights, does that inspire you?
Yeah, of course, because no one thought an MMA fighter could ever reach that kind of heights. No one ever thought it was possible for a cage fighter to reach them sorts of heights, and he's done it, and he's now like one of the most richest men in the world. But I think the money's gone to his head, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? I'm not into it. No amount of fame or money or anything will ever change me. It's that simple.
It's easy to say that. I'm joking. Anything you want to ask Paddy before we let him get out of here, Lewis?
I mean, no, dude. I think you're great. I think you definitely have a lot of confidence. Actually, I will ask you this. Let's say because you have a lot of confidence, and you're not wrong about something, because the media does seem to be chomping at the bit to talk to you, and there is a lot of buzz, much more so than most fighters that are making their UFC debut, unquestionably. So what do you attribute that to? If you could sort of point to one thing that is a, whether it's a personality trait, the way you fight, or maybe a combination of them, why do you think that people are excited to watch you fight and make your UFC debut?
Yeah, I think it's my personality and my look has a lot to do with it. I haven't got any tattoos. I don't look like a fighter. I'm not a little chesty that's carrying two big plasma tellies under his arms. You know what I mean? I look like a young kid. I get called the fifth Beatle lad. You know what I mean? So, I don't look like a fighter.
What's he called from the In-Betweeners? You must have been likened to him before.
Jay off the In-Betweeners, I get called him.
Hey, Brian, bring him up on screen for Lewis, because he won't know it. Jay from the In-Betweeners. You definitely do have a look of him. And I'll tell you what, he's fucking hilarious, by the way, as well. And that's a good show.
Called Owen Hart. I get called Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
I see that
a little bit. Can you talk like this?
So it's like the juxtaposition of your look, which you look like a nice young kid who's like, and then you're a fucking badass fighter, so that surprises people.
Yeah, like
you do look like him a little bit. It's the hair more than anything.
I mean, like as I say, me entrance, people love me entrance when my song comes on, and a lot of people always say the way I change like that because obviously I bounce out and I'm happy and I'm smiling and I'm singing my song and then when I stand in the cage and I look at my opponent, that's it. It's like I zone out, I go somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Obviously, I got to stop saying obviously. I say it all the time when I'm talking to people. Obviously, it's a big deal, right? Fighting for the UFC, you're making your UFC debut. They offered you a contract before, and you turned it down, which I think was really smart. I do. A lot of people, they're too quick to get to the UFC. And then once they get there, they lose a few fights. And then that's it. They're yesterday's news. They get fired or whatever. And they don't get another crack at it. So I thought that was really smart. So the only, it's not a downside, but because this has been such a long time coming for you, and you've been very strategic about when you came to the UFC and when you took a contract and you signed and all the rest of it, and then just under 2 weeks you're going to be there. How do you think you're going to feel on the night? People talk about the octagon jitters, of course, but that's all a state of mind. You seem, and obviously this is the only time we've ever spoken, but you seem very confident, and it doesn't seem fake. It's easy to have fake confidence, but real confidence is something else. But how do you think you'll feel a week on Saturday? You're at the Apex, you're backstage, and the runners are there, and they're like, all right, Paddy, make the walk.
Oh, it's giving me tingles, lad. I can't wait. I can't wait, lad. Like, it's going to be heavy. It's going to be sick. Like, he's going to be more nervous than me. And he's had 3 UFC fights. I know he is, especially when I get in his head all week in the hotel and wind him up. I'm asking Aaron some Portuguese words to shout at him.
Are you going to be talking shit? Is that your style?
Yeah, in the week, in the build-up to it, I'll have his head up his arse, defo. I'll be talking all sorts of shit to him.
And you think that helps? Can you get in? You can get into an opponent's head, and you think you really do? That makes.
Well, he doesn't speak English, so that's first and foremost. And even if he's American, Americans can't understand the fucking Scouser to save their lives. So you have got your work cut out for you, Paddy.
Well, Darren's gonna be there. Darren knows fluent Portuguese, so I'll be like, lad, what's this word? What's that word? Shouting.
It's going to be an awesome event on the 4th of September because it's kind of like a British invasion. Obviously, it was meant to be in London, as we know, so there's going to be so many British fighters. Do you know if you're all coming over on the same flight or anything like that? Because what an atmosphere that would be.
Oh yeah, that would be funny. That but
yeah.
We're flying on the Sunday. The Sunday before, we're flying to New York. LA, and then LA to Vegas. Yeah. So I don't know if he's on that flight or not, but I'm getting right home after it as well. We're flying this Sunday morning. But the good thing about it being UK prime time is we fight in the morning in Vegas, don't we? And I just cannot wait to go and enjoy a full day of food.
Yeah. No, of course. I'll tell you what, mate, the restaurants in Vegas are unbelievable. Some of the best food in the world, I'm telling you. It's unreal. Yeah. It really is. So listen, all right, well, listen, Paddy, thanks for joining us, mate. I'll see you there just under 2 weeks. All the best with the last final bits of preparation. Good luck in the octagon, and hopefully I get to talk to you with the microphone in my hand.
Oh, you will. And I'll be saying, where's me 50 grand? Where's that bonus?
All right, then. Lewis, I thought you were going to say something. Anything?
Well, I don't want to correct him, but the fights in Vegas are not in the morning. They're at night.
I believe this is, though, for London prime time, though, because it was, it might be a morning fight.
Oh, because I thought he was making a mistake, and I felt so bad. I was like, dude, he's not going to be able to experience any of these restaurants.
Yeah, no, obviously it's 8 hours ahead. So I think they're doing it in the morning. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because they probably have the TV deals.
Is that what you've been told?
Yeah, I think it's starting 5 p.m. on BT Sport, so that'll be 9 a.m. in Vegas. So I'm guessing I'll be on about 10, 11 o'clock in Vegas, something like that. And then I'm going to go and get 20,000 calories in me.
So what do I do? That's the real question, Paddy. Never mind you. What do I do? Because normally at the end of the night, I drive straight home. You know what I mean? It's only 3.5 hours. I jump in the car, walk in about 1 o'clock, something like that. So I could do that. I could drive home and get home nice and early. Or there's going to be a bunch of English lads. Darren's going to be there. Tom Aspinall's going to be there. We could all go get on the fucking piss and have a good night in Vegas. So we'll figure it out. But anyway, until then, Paddy, thanks for joining us, mate. Nice to talk to you. It's been a long time coming. Truly wish you all the best with your UFC career. I truly mean that, mate. All the best. Good luck with the weight cut. Good luck with the fight. And I'm really excited to see what you do.
Really appreciate you for having me. And this won't be the last time anyway. I can guarantee that.
Well, hopefully when you win, come back on. We'll talk about it.
Definitely. See you soon.
Nice one, Paddy. Take care, mate. Paddy. Good luck.
Good luck, buddy.
Bye. See you, bud. Bye-bye.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, very nice. I didn't know what to expect. As I said, I've never spoke to him before. You mentioned it to get him on, and a lot of people on Twitter were like, you should get Paddy the Baddie on.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a baddie. He seems like a nice young man.
I think that if I had to guess, my assumption is that he is a little more vicious with shit talking to his opponent because he's like a nice guy and very like even keeled. He wasn't like trying to like ruffle any feathers, but also Bisping. The reality is he was downplaying it a little bit, but you are a legend in British MMA. I'm assuming there's a little bit of like,
I'm an old bastard is what you're saying, but you're right. You know what I mean? You don't want to come on talking shit straight away when you don't really know the person as well. So
yeah.
No, but
with that, it's he just taps it in. All you got to do is come in, he did a long interview. It was like, 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
Is that what it was? About 40 minutes? Didn't feel like
it was a pretty long one.
But yeah, that is exciting, and I never knew it was going to be prime time for the UK. As we know, it was supposed to be in London, and there's obviously when it's a London card, they're going to stack it with the British talent and the European talent. COVID bullshit. I couldn't go ahead, quarantining, all the rest of it. So they're all coming over.
Yeah, I'm assuming they had like whatever TV deals in place already in England, so they couldn't change that.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be, I mean, I don't know. I'm not talking about UFC business. One would assume, though, that they have a certain protocol and deals and contracts and stuff where they want a certain amount of fights at localized time. I don't know. I'm just assuming that. But still, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great seeing the British invasion, the Scottish invasion, all some Europeans on there, all in Vegas. Yeah, I might just stick around.
Dude, Paddy the Baddy better have a fucking really good debut with the shit, dude. The shit talking. What if he goes in, he wins a split decision, boring. He's on top of the
let's have a look at his record. So his record is 15-3. So he's got a lot of experience, as he said. 9-0 as an amateur. He lost to Stevie Ray, who used to be in the UFC, in a grappling bout. So it doesn't really matter. Although it does give you an inkling of his grappling ability. Sonnen Bak, I don't know who that is. 11-1, good record. He lost to him. And then he lost to Nad Narimani, who's a guy, I don't know if he's still in the UFC or he used to be. Trains up at Team Alpha Male. Good dude. Fought on Fight Island last year. Didn't get the win. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. The problem is, you know, when you're going through the competition, you're beating people. And as you said, Luce, there is a step up. But you know, they wanted him in the UFC a long time ago. He turned it down. I like that. That's really smart. And yeah, as I said,
you're seeing that a little bit more now, right? And I think that's indicative of how good and how much mixed martial arts across the board has grown, even on the smaller. The fact that, you know, was it Cage Warriors or was it Cage Rage? I'm sorry.
Cage Warriors, yeah. Cage Rage went a long time ago, which is weird because Cage Rage was a big show in the UK, and Cage Warriors was always kind of like the understudy. But Cage Warriors was around before Cage Rage, and obviously still around to this day.
But the fact that they can even compete with the UFC 5 years ago, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. Fucking give me some love, Cage Warriors, and never see. I don't see me on the website. Only defended the belt 3 times. No, you're right though, because Yuri Prohaska, as we know, he's going to be filling in. Well, not filling in, pardon me. He's going to be on standby for the Glover Teixeira and Jan Blachowicz fight as, you know, the backup, like they do these days.
Yeah.
They offered him a UFC contract a while ago and he turned it down as well, simply because same reason, you know, he wanted to come to the UFC. That was his end goal the whole time, but he wanted to make sure that when he came, he was ready to take over and become the champion. And it does take a lot of balls to do that. But as I said to Paddy, it is the smart thing to do because you only get one shot at making a UFC debut. And you want to do it in style. You don't want to come in and lose a shitty, boring, lackluster fight, but then you start climbing your way up and doing better. You lose that chance. But if you come in, you make a bang, you knock the motherfucker out, you get on the microphone, you talk some good shit, or you're charismatic or whatever it is, all of a sudden, Monday morning, people are talking about you. You're all over the websites, and potentially a star is born.
And not for nothing. I mean, look, you know, what Paddy's doing really great is he's creating the narrative for himself. Right. He's like, I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be the biggest star the sport's ever seen. People want to see him fulfill that. Like fans of the UFC are going like, oh shit, I want. So now all he has to do is deliver on the fights. And he's sort of setting himself up. The lesson that young fighters should be taking from this is, yeah, dude, open your fucking mouth. Talk about how you're the best. Get people talking about you. Create some sort of buzz. Because if you're waiting for just your fights to create that buzz for you, you may be waiting and you may get caught. You may lose a fight. There's some bumps in the road there, but you can sort of create that narrative for yourself preemptively. And then it just takes a few fights and you're a fucking UFC star.
100%. I totally agree. And I know a lot of people out there would say, no, it's about your ability. This is a sport and it needs to be about how well you perform at that sport. And of course that is a crucial aspect. That is paramount above everything else. No point being a great shit talker, but you can't fight. That career is not going to go well for you. Okay, go be a rapper or whatever it is. I don't know. But if you want to truly stand out from the crowd, if you want to be a star, you want to make big money, you want to make bank, bro, then yeah, you need to do that. And you don't necessarily have to talk shit. You don't have to be insulting. If you want to live by the martial arts code and be all about respect and things like that, you can do that. But you still got to have a presence and you still got to have a personality. Basically, it's called charisma or star power, star qualities. That's what you got to have. And by all accounts, Paddy has that. And then a lot of people, we see it, you know, I step into the octagon after a fight and I say, you got any names you want to call out? And they're like, no. No. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you're blowing this occasion. You're blowing this opportunity. It's an opportunity, right? It's weird. I'm talking about myself again now, but it's my experience. I get recognized more now as a UFC commentator than what I did when I was fighting. And why is that? It's because, well, once or twice a month, I'm heading up a show. I'm commentating the UFC. When you're fighting, you might only get in there twice a year, 3 times a year, if you're lucky, sometimes once a year. So you're not in that public perception very often. So
and then if you're not in the main event or co-main event, then you're really
exactly. not. Well, yeah, I was always main or co-main, but if you're on the fucking undercard or whatever, and it's only once or twice a year, you haven't got much of an opportunity. So I'm not judging them, but I'm giving advice. You have to take that opportunity and make it work for you. And you don't necessarily have to have a name, and you don't need to be disrespectful, but you got to have a message. You got to speak with authority. You got to have something about you, because if you don't do that, you're blowing your chance. And they might say, as I said, oh, but I just let my fighter do the talking. All right, great. Awesome. See how that works out for you. Of course, you want to have the fighting ability, like I said. Like George St. Pierre wasn't a shit talker. Went on to become one of the biggest stars and most legendary fighters we ever saw. But there was something about it that was endearing, and he was very confident when he needed to be. He was also very humble when he needed to be. But yeah, you got to make it.
You remember that moment, right, where he was in the octagon? It was an actual moment, right? And you talked about it 2 or 3 times a year where Joe Rogan or Michael Bisping has the microphone in your face, and you have to create that moment. And George St. Pierre, you remember, he got on his hands and knees and he said, Dana White, please give me my title shot. And everyone's cheering, and it was fucking...
The best one was that I was there in person. I want to say UFC, was it 59? But I don't know. But I was there 63. BJ Penn versus Matt Hughes. And then George St. Pierre gets in the cage, and there's I was not impressed with your performance. And it was great. It was just one little line. You don't have to talk shit. You don't have to swear. You don't have to necessarily be insulting. In fact, that is the most polite way of putting somebody down ever. Yes. I was not impressed with your performance, but it went viral, and people still mention it to this day.
And I even look at Patty. Patty wasn't trash talking people. He was being pretty respectful overall of everybody, everybody but he still had a thing about him where he looked right in the camera and said, no, I'm a fucking star. I'm going to make a UFC debut, and I will be a star after that fight. And honestly, even with Patty, he was on the show just now. It's not like he was talking a ton of shit. He was being very respectful to the entire UFC lightweight division. Even guys that he was talking a little bit of shit on, he was doing it in a fairly respectful way. But you sort of touched on something which I thought was a great point, which is he created a story for himself. He gave you the narrative for you to run with. Instead of waiting for people to create the narrative for him, he made it for you, and then you get to go. You don't have to be that creative. People in general aren't that creative, so you have to sort of lay it out there for them. And I think he did a really, really good job of doing that.
No, he did a fantastic job, and I really do look forward to seeing what he does in the UFC, and I think he's going to have a bright future. I really do. He seems to be the complete package. Only time will tell, of course, but I love that confidence. I say it all the time. People probably get sick of me saying it. You got to be confident as a fighter. If you're coming over here to the UFC, that's what you should be saying. You should be talking about taking over the entire division. You should be talking about planning on becoming a champion one day. Of course, you got to work towards that. But I remember before I was signed with the UFC, I was saying the same shit. And Paddy said there, he said, I'm going to come in, I'm taking over, yada, yada, yada. And I hope he does. And only time will tell. But I will say this, obviously now I'm a commentator for the UFC, and every time I commentate, we do the fighter meetings. I talk about it all the time. So we get to sit down with the guys and we get to ask them questions, and we get to know them a little bit, and it helps us commentate. There's a lot of people say the same thing. There's a lot of fighters, they come here, and I'm not saying this is going to be Paddy, by the way, but a lot of them do come, and some of the statements I've heard them say are very, very I won't say delusional, but if there's another adjective that means delusional, I'd say that one. Because some of them, they say, oh, I'm coming in, I'm taking over, I'm going to be champion 3 fights, I'm going to be the biggest star in the world, and blah, 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 blah. And you sit there and you be respectful, and you think, well, good. And I get excited as a commentator when I hear that from them. I get excited because I think, shit, this is going to be great. And a lot of the time they crash and burn. A lot of the time, because when you're fighting on the regional scene, and then you step up to the UFC, there's a big difference. Of course, a lot of people say, well, UFC doesn't have the best fighters in the world. It has almost all the best fighters in the world. Of course, there's other promotions out there, and there's other decent fighters in those promotions, but the majority of the best fighters are in the UFC. And when you get here, you step up in competition. But like in anything you do, like being a comedian, you got to be confident, right? Whatever profession you do, anyone listening to this right now, if you work for yourself, fair enough, if you're going in, you're clocking in at work and you're working for somebody and you just go through the motions, you do your job and you're a diligent worker and all the rest of it, God bless you. But if you work for yourself, even if you're just a builder, you know what I mean? You got your own van and you got to you build garages or extensions or whatever it is. You got to be confident and you got to go meet those clients and say, yeah, I'm going to do you a great job at the best price and all the rest of it. That's what you have to do as a stand-up comedian. I'm sure one of the worst things to be as a stand-up comedian is not confident.
Yeah, well, I mean, it can be a little different because self-deprecation is a style and this, that, the other. But you're 100%
that still
right.
Takes confidence to. No, I'm not talking about that. The subject matter could be self-deprecation, but you got to be confident when you're delivering those lines.
You're 100% right about that. And it was kind of funny that you really said it. Really, you see this happen a lot when guys come into the UFC and they're like, I'm going to light the world on fire and I'm going to be a future champion. I'm going to beat every guy put in front of me. And you have two guys that are saying the exact same thing that are about to fight each other. Only one can be right. You always see like guys be like, what, God is on my side. I've prayed. Well, what if you're both praying to God? Who prayed harder?
Who made the sacrifices? Who had premarital sex? Are you confirmed? Were you an altar boy as a child? There's many, many things that go into this. I mean, how good of a good little Catholic boy were you?
How good of an altar boy were you? And you know what we're talking about.
What did you do to Father Bisping at the wedding at the weekend? Okay.
Did you keep your mouth shut?
Yeah. I could go on all day. We're going to move on from that one, Lewis.
All right, guys, let's take a quick moment and thank Manscaped for supporting today's show. That is Manscaped past tense. They make some of the best products in below the belt grooming that you can get. I'll tell you right now, their brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is the best. And I mean the best ball hair trimmer. And I don't mean to be crude, but that's what it is. The best ball hair trimmer on the market. It is quiet. It's got a light on it. It's waterproof. And the best thing of all, it works fast because it's almost impossible to nick yourself with it.
Well, if you want to get technical on it, also, it has a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. And if you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. And the for yourself is the key part. I will not be trimming your balls, okay? You have to do that yourself. Other than that, the Manscaped 4.0 pretty much does everything. And the main thing is, listen, when you're doing your men's grooming, you don't want to nick yourself, okay? We've all been there. If you groom yourself, if you trim your ball hair, it's a minefield. It's tough not to do, but that is a thing of the past thanks to the Manscaped. And obviously start with the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. The 4.0 is the best one yet. Trust me, it is fantastic. They just get better and better. Of course, it's waterproof as well. So yeah, take it in the shower, take it in the swimming pool, do whatever you want to do. But the main thing is you're going to be clean as a whistle. You're going to be smooth as a baby's bum, and you're going to feel great. And you're going to save some money because when you go to manscaped.com and then you use the code Bisping20, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. So that's a very, very good deal. Trust me, you will not be disappointed in this thing if you decide to try it out. Stop using your beard trimmer. Stop using whatever it is you use. Use the Manscaped, the 4.0. Manscaped.com is the website. Bisping20 is the code. 20% off and free shipping. Okay, where were we? Well, we're going to get out of here in a minute, but Sean O'Malley. Harrington, do you want to jump on the screen a minute, buddy? Or has he disappeared because I rejected him at the bride at the altar? Here he is. There he is. What's up, Harrington?
Yeah, what's up, Mike?
Not much, mate. Not much. Well done on this little snippets of info on Sean O'Malley. Didn't see that. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. I do believe I mentioned this before. Like the Sean O'Malley 3 and then the Sean O'Malley where is it, 13 or 14 or 12?
15.
There's 2 Sean O'Malleys and there's 2 Rose Namajunas, but they're separated in numbers by 5 or 6 points. You know what I mean? If there's 2 Seans, do 3 and 4 Sean and do 5 and 6 thingy about Rose Namajunas. But you know what I mean? Lump them together. So I haven't got to scroll through. That's all I wanted to say. But I appreciate it. But give us some context and some colour on what's going on with Sean O'Malley. Please, my friend.
Well, there was a couple interesting things from Sean O'Malley this week.
I'm not mean to Harrington. What do you want me to do? It's fun. We're trying to have a laugh here. But please, Harrington, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And look at Harrington.
No, I still have this job.
He's a fucking mole man. He lives in a subway systems on a bench somewhere. He's terrifying. How do you be nice to that? Look at him. Look at the faces he makes. Like a weirdo. I don't even get what's going on.
Do you have electricity in that building?
Very clearly a house, Lewis.
Do you have electricity?
Okay. Well, my video's lagging.
Yeah, see what I mean?
God. Oh, my
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Forget it. I'll do it myself. And that's why people are like, why are you so mean to Harrington? It's because, do you know why I get frustrated? And sometimes me and you do it one another. It's because I just care about the show and I want it to be perfect. You know what I mean? I want it to be good and I want it to be done right. So then sometimes I take it out on him. So, but it's all coming from a place of love and it's a place of having the best possible show. But still, a lot of people talk about Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley's fantastic. I'm very, very high on him. I've got nothing bad to say. The only thing is that I wish, and again, it's not an insult. I wish he was fighting some better competition. But if I was his manager, I'd be happy with the way it's going because that's what you want to do: work your way up, build your way up. And he said earlier this week, and I can't find it because Harrington likes to space out all the points everywhere. But he said basically, he's talking about how much money he gets paid. He said, a lot of people want to see me fight somebody that's ranked. I have a contract to fight a certain number of fights, and I only get paid a certain amount of money whether I fight Louis Smolka or I fight Petr Yan. I get paid the same. Well, I'm going to fight the lower-ranked fighter. I get it and I don't get it. I get it to a certain degree. I do. I understand that. But I also know this. I know this for a fact. If he did fight a Petr Yan, shall we say, if he did fight for the belt, on his current contract, and I shouldn't speak for Dana White, but he's pretty generous with those checkbooks backstage. You know what I mean? He's pretty generous with those rather outlandish bonuses. Now, well, certainly in my day, I don't know about now because he's maybe different times with WME, but back in the day, and I wasn't the only one, there was a lot of checks floating around, and I'm pretty sure that if he did do that, then he would get a check. But that's not what I'm talking about. We were talking about his opponents, and it just came out that, see, now I'm going to scroll down to point 13 or 14.
Well, can I respond to that before you
Yeah,
move
go
on?
ahead, please, while I find it.
Yeah, please. Because here's the thing. I don't disagree with him, and he's right. But that's not what you want to hear from a fighter. I want to hear maybe that from his manager and an honest interview behind the scenes about how it really works, right? The inner workings of the UFC. But you don't want to hear from Sean O'Malley, I'm going to pick the lower ranked opponent. It just doesn't sell you as being a fucking badass. Yes, for Michael Bisping, the fighter, and somebody who went through a UFC career and gave up a lot of his life to it, he respects it and understands it and goes, yeah, that makes sense 100%. But at the same time, you are trying to sell yourself to the public. You're not trying to sell yourself to the insiders and to the former fighters and to all these other people. We just spent a lot of time talking about creating that story for yourself. And the story can't be that Sean O'Malley is fighting lower ranked opponents. The story needs to be that Sean O'Malley will fight any man, any place, anytime, number 1 ranked, number fucking 5 ranked. It doesn't matter. It could be a heavyweight and Sean O'Malley will kick his fucking head off. And when Sean O'Malley starts pushing that story, I think he will be a massive, massive star, as big as Conor McGregor.
Yeah, no, but he's certainly got the potential. A lot of people love Sean O'Malley. When he walked out for his last pay-per-view, the place went bananas. Of course, the performance was fantastic. He's got the swag, he's got the style, he's got the skill, he's got the mouth, and he looks like one of these stupid young rappers these days. So he's got it all. Do you know what I mean? And you're right, Lewis. It's a great point what you say, and I totally agree. His attitude, and again, I'm a fan of Sean O'Malley, so I am not talking shit, but I would like to see him just say, you know what? I'm going to blaze through this fucking contract. And then at the end of it, then I'm going to get the real contract, what I'm worth, because it might hurt him in negotiations. And again, I got to be careful. Obviously, I work for the UFC and I don't know any insider knowledge. But if you're just fighting lower level guys like a Chris Moutinho, when he comes to renegotiate his contract, they'll be like, well, you haven't proven yourself yet against anybody. But if he's taking on guys that are big, that guys have a name, when it comes to the end of his contract, I don't know how many fights he has. I don't know how many fights he's got left. I don't know any of that. But if he has some recognizable names on there, when it comes to renegotiation, he can say, hey, listen, I'm fucking championship material. I'm ready for this. And I'd like my contract to reflect that. And if you're taking out guys like his next opponent, because this is all leading to Ariel Helwani says that UFC is targeting Frankie Edgar versus Sean O'Malley at UFC 268 Madison Square Garden. I mean, that is a coming out. I mean, it's not a coming out party. The party is already out for Sean O'Malley. He's a star. He is. But that's a massive, massive fight. Madison Square Garden against Frankie Edgar, who's from New Jersey. He's going to be the fan favorite. I don't even know if he is, though, because people love Sean O'Malley. But more than likely,
in New York,
yeah. So they're going to go for Frankie.
And he's a legend. Frankie's a legend, former champion. I mean, people love Frankie Edgar.
Of the highest degree. He is a legend of the sport, for sure. Hall of Famer when he does retire. Incredible fighter, stylistically might just prove to be a kryptonite for Sean O'Malley, though, as well.
And a massive step up in terms of competition. I mean, Frankie Edgar is real deal. I mean, look, I know it's not the old Frankie Edgar. He's definitely not, champion caliber Frankie Edgar that we've seen in the past. But Frankie Edgar is an absolute monster, dude. A real step up in competition. Has Sean O'Malley faced anybody that good yet?
I don't think so. In fact, no, he hasn't. He has not. Yeah. Who was it? Chris Matinho. Prior to that, Eddie Wineland, Sean O'Malley, but we know what happened there. That's interesting. I'd like to see a rematch in that fight, to be honest. O'Malley and Chito Vera. But but no, Chito, I would say so far, by far the biggest name and the most respected name that O'Malley's fought would be Chito Vera. That ended obviously a knockout for Chito or TKO, whichever one you want to call it. Of course, O'Malley has the excuse. I think that's a fair word. Yeah, he has the excuse of what happened. My leg went numb. I'd like to see that fight back, but no, you're right. By far the biggest name that he's fought. I don't know about most dangerous, because I'm not sure how a fight with Chito and Frankie Edgar will go down either. But I've got nothing bad, and I will never say anything bad about Frankie Edgar. The man's a legend. He's got so much respect from me, and he's just the nicest guy as well. The guy is a class act.
Yeah, I want to see Chito Vera fight the winner of Frankie Edgar versus Sean O'Malley. That's what I want to see. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that fight has to be made. They have to do that rematch at some point, and can't wait for it. All right, well, look, listen, I think we've been going on for a little while there. Should we wrap this one up, seeing as you're now looking like you're going into a time machine and you're like, there's half of your body still in 2021 and little parts of you are going back to the 1980s, and you look like you're coming at me through a fucking Commodore 64. Do you know what a Commodore 64 is? I do. It's an old school computer, my friend.
Spectrum? Do you have Spectrums? ZX Spectrum?
No, now you're getting crazy.
No, you look like you're coming at me on a color Game Boy.
Okay, all right. You look like you're coming at me on a Neo Geo.
On a, what were they called? The little Sega.
An Atari 2600.
Atari 2600, yeah. Hold on. Amstrad CPC 464, that's what I had.
Am I podcasting or am I playing Pong right now?
Amstrad CPC 6128 was the upgrade that my dad got me off the back of a lorry one time.
Is this Michael Bisping, or is this the little guy from the game Pitfall?
Sega Game Gear. That is right. Sega Game. Every year the UFC used to send us bonuses every Christmas. And then I got a $400 Best Buy voucher once. But they don't have Best Buy in the UK. But I was in America for something else. For a fight at Christmas, I got a $400 Best Buy voucher. And my buddy Brian from Violent Gentleman said, you give me the $400 Best Buy voucher and I'll give you my Sega Game Gear.
Ooh.
I said, okay, fine, yeah. Didn't work in England. Didn't work in England. On that note, we'll say goodbye. Farewell. Adios, amigos. We'll be back with another one. Please tell your friends. We love doing the show and we hope you like it also. But subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word. And until then, much love. We'll be back on Thursday.
Thanks, guys. Peace.